Okay, I'm gonna try to do a recorded review. Haven't done these in a while. Played a bunch of sit and goes yesterday. These are 16 spots that I saved from them. Because I screenshotted them, it's going to take me a little bit of time to put them into ICMizer. But I kind of wanted to just talk about my thought process. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm not going to go over like my overall strategy, but I'm more going to stick to these specific spots. Maybe elaborate a little bit more. These are all from 9-man games, some turbo, some rec speed, a lot of the same faces. I probably will touch a little bit on player tendencies, maybe some exploits that I look to use. And yeah, so I don't actually remember all the spots off the top of my head, but I'm going to be entering them all into ICM, which is going to take a little bit of time because I have to do it manually. But I'm mostly going to be looking at what I should be doing in these spots, but sometimes I'm going to be interested, like if I pass on a shove, what can the villain behind me be shoving? If I do happen to shove, maybe it's wide, what are the villains behind me supposed to be calling? And yeah, so just hopping right into it. This is from a $110 game yesterday. Quick note on my opponents. Poker 12 and Make 'Em Say are very good players. Your Dream Frisch is a pretty good player. I have Ascension tagged as a loose passive player. I have Notre Dame Fighting Irish tagged as he's either tight passive or tight aggressive. Definitely too tight though. And so in this spot, so all these are top 3 pay, and I'm chip leader with 6 remaining. I thought the spot was close in moment. I kind of thought that Notre Dame would be over folding. I think Make 'Em and Poker actually are going to be correctly calling, and they are in spots to be calling off wider because they are in last place. Sometimes with these loose passive players, they will ICM punt and call too wide. But it's usually when they actually have more chips. They actually aren't aggressive enough when they're low in chips. And so generally bad players will just overfold. So anyway, I ran this in ICM. I already had this pulled up, this spot, and running ICMizer. Let me see if this is pulled up. Ace-9 is the exact border. Ace-9 off. It says I can shove 23-ish%, all pairs, all suited aces, King 4 suited plus, Queen 8 suited plus, Jack 9 suited plus, 9-10 suited plus. Kind of interesting that 8-9 suited and Jack 8 suited and 10-8 suited aren't shoves. I kind of thought Ace-9 would be. I kind of thought Ace-8 may be as well, but so if I do shove Ace-9, cutoff supposed to be calling 9s plus, so 5%. Ace-Jack suited plus, Ace-Queen off. He's probably calling a little bit wider, to be honest. He's probably calling Ace-10 suited plus and Ace-Jack off and maybe 7s plus. But if, let's see, so Notre Dame is in second. He's supposed to be calling even tighter. He's supposed to be calling 10s plus. Okay. This spot wasn't that interesting. I just thought it was kind of close. I think I ended up shoving here. I don't actually remember, or I may have folded and thought that I could have shoved. I know I didn't lose this hand though. So okay, next spot. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. Sorry, I'm pretty new to OBS as well. Okay, so this is before I enter into ICM, let me just try to look at the spot here. So I'm in 4th place, 3 pay. I believe this is a $60 or $100 sit and go. Molly Squeaker's quite bad. Rabbit Hunt's quite tight. Mufius is really good. If anything, he's actually going to be calling too wide, but he's definitely shoving wider than he needs to be, but he's very ICM aware, and Make 'Em Say is very good. So maybe this is just obvious. I thought that if I shove cutoff, I'm like taking some shoves away from Makem. But because he's like so far in last, he probably will call wide as well. And this is actually probably a fold. I think I have too many big blinds. Let me get the stack. So I'm in cutoff with 1365. Sorry if my keyboard's loud. 1030. 4555. 2420. And under the gun folds. Okay. Let's give myself king 5 suited. I think it's a fold. Okay, so king 9 suited is where it wants us to shove. I think if I go down even like, I think 2 big blinds, it's probably a call here. So right now I also have future game simulation off. Oh wow. When is it going to let me shove king 5 suited? 9.5 big blinds? What? How does this make sense? 7.5 big blinds? So I have this in ICM dollar EV for payouts on $100 sit and go. So it says I'm losing 50 cents shoving king 5. I think Molly overfolds, but with Movius and Makem to my left, the 2 best players, and them both probably calling correctly, I guess I just punted pretty hard here. What's the cutoff for? Okay, so 5 big blinds, and I shoved 13.5 big blinds. I don't know. I'm trying to find more shove spots. However, I am trying to balance that with maybe taking some lower variance routes if the field's particularly soft. Sometimes I'll pass up on these small edges, you know, if it's like picking up a big blind or something, or if it's barely break even, or, you know, barely winning in the long run. I watch people make lots of blunders, especially on the bubble. So, okay, this was a pretty big punt here. Good thing that I shoved it and got it through. I'll zoom in some more. Okay. This actually is an older game. This is from a 33. Screen name is quite good. Make him say, is quite good. He's featured in all of these so far. I'm shoving ace deuce for 15 big. So I decide to leave 30 chips behind. I think in theory, if like screen name shoves and then make him say shoves, and then the problem with that is like, I don't really know when it's right to fold and when it seems like it's almost always right to still call, even though I'm leaving chips behind. I think for sure if it goes shove, 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 then I fold. But, you know, because a hand like ace deuce is just going to have too much equity. And maybe I'm just trying to be balanced and I'm doing this exact leave chips behind with like my really strong hands and really weak hands. But, you know, maybe a hand like a lower pocket pair or something, even then, like, they probably still have like 20-ish% equity. All right, let's run the spot. So we're on the exact bubble. I will do some future game stuff here and see how much of a difference that makes. So we have ace, deuce suited. Blinds are 100, 200. Oh, okay, I don't have 15 bigs here. I have 7.5 bigs. This is probably fine then. So something that, like, yes, ICM is about like how relatively like deep or shallow I am compared to my opponents. But if we're all really shallow, like, I can be slightly ahead of somebody and still, you know, still shove pretty wide here. So yeah, ace deuce suited is barely a shove. Let's see if I do future games simulation. Okay. 22%, all suited aces, king 7 suited plus, ace 9-0. So I'm going to be probably trying to shove close to ICM because I have 2 good players to my left. A lot of times in these sit and goes, I have like 5 bad players to my left, or like 1 good player remaining with like of the 4 left or something. And so sometimes it'll actually be a little bit tighter there. Sometimes I like doing things like non-all-in raises. I'm not going to get too much into that today. I just want to hit these spots. So now I'm going to try to just hit these spots to just get through them, and then I'll talk more about like probably exploits and like other things that I do besides push fold and just general sit and go strategy, probably like in my next video or something. So I'm going to take future game off, and we are okay. So I ended up calling here, and I wanted to run this spot because I thought that 9s was actually maybe a fold, because I thought that Makeham, given that he was ahead of me, was going to be shoving pretty tight. And so I think I've actually already ran this spot, but I'm going to bring up my calculator real quick to see what the... Okay, so 2860 divided by 2, so there's 1430, but it's actually 2860 minus 200, because I think, yeah, so 200 goes to screen name for the big blind, and then I have 1330. Okay, so I'm the small blind, 1330, I have pocket 9s, big blind has 3580, cutoff has 1330 plus 280, which is 1610. Sorry if this is loud. Okay, so cutoff goes all in. Here's in the small blind with 9s. Wow, 9s was the cutoff. Okay, so I ended up calling here. I thought that he would correctly be tight, but maybe be too wide. I don't know if that makes sense. Ace-Jack suited plus. I'd probably call that in the moment just because you get some dead money in. We're really just effectively shallow, and he's going to have a lot of pairs. It says he's supposed to be shoving 14% here. This is actually wider than I thought. I didn't think he was supposed to be shoving 5s plus. I don't actually think he shoves Queen 10 suited, King 10 suited, and King Jack suited. So I think he doesn't shove these. I'll give him ace-5 actually, and I'll give him ace-9 off, take these away, take that away, take that away. I don't know if he shoves ace-10 off. I'll leave ace-10, but I'm going to take away 5s and 6s. Okay. So if he's pushing 11%, then yeah, 9s is a fold. I thought it was close. It's kind of interesting that 10s makes $8 when 9s loses $5. That's quite a discrepancy. Well, I ended up calling and getting very lucky, as you can see from the screenshot. Okay, let's run the next spot. Oops. Okay. Here we are four-handed OK is very good, and he has the chip lead and is correctly like shoving wide. So I think I ended up folding this hand, and I think I mostly folded because I thought these two players were just like really, really bad, but I thought it was an ICM shove, and so I just wanted to check that. Blinds are 15-30. So this is a spot where like if I'm playing better players, I think I should be shoving this. So he has 855. So he ended up shoving, I guess. So he has 18-15. So yeah, I'm in second. It doesn't really matter that much because I'm about to hit the blinds, and I'm like maybe like a big blind ahead. I mean, it matters, but not yet as much. So cutoff folds. Can I shove king jack? I think I can. Yeah, so I can actually shove pretty wide here, 25%. Threes plus, ace 4 off plus, ace 2 suited plus. Yeah, so this is a spot where I chose to pass because the remaining players were likely to make a mistake. Actually, I remember this game and they did make a mistake and there were some ICM punts. I think I ended up getting second, which was funny. Okay. Why is it doing this? All right, let me zoom in. Okay, we have really tight player Baron, 80, and really tight player All-in Ike. And I think I wanted to know if I could shove blind versus blind here. So we're 5 players. Sorry if this is like quite boring with having to type all this in manually. But it's kind of a good way for me to learn because I have to think about the spot a little bit more, I think. So what would you guys do here? Let me know, please. I have queen 5 off. I think it's gonna want me to shove. And I end up shoving, and he folds. Wow, queen 5 off is the border, 75%. So if I look at just like a Nash shoving chart here, you know, he is 8 big blinds-ish effective, and queen 5 you can shove like 9-ish blinds, queen 4 is like 8-ish. So yeah, I can see queen 3 and queen 4 kind of being close. Jack 7-0. Yeah, Jack 6 is kind of close. I'm surprised 10-6 is a shove. 10-6. I probably wouldn't shove 10-6. I would shove 10-7 though. Yeah, look how much of a difference that is. I guess there's some ICM pressure from default a little more than just Nash, but anyway, this was a shove, and I'm gonna go to the next spot. So I will save the time from running this. Actually, no, I'll run it because it's kind of interesting to show. So I was playing this with Matt. I wasn't playing with Matt, but he was like watching me play, and I told him that this was a fold, and he said I was crazy, and it's actually a fold. I'm supposed to be calling kings and aces only here. That being said, this was like a 22 or I think this was like a $33 or $40 sit and go. The players were quite bad, so like Le Kamesh is shoving too wide. But this was kind of interesting. So if you see here, it's gonna have me call, oops, I didn't do this right. Cutoff goes all in. Yeah, so I'm supposed to call aces and kings and fold queens. Man, look how much money king queen off call loses me. $96. I lose $10 with queens. I ended up calling because sometimes if everyone's shallow, I think and like this guy was pretty good, and Adu was like overly passive. So I was like I was like handcuffed, but he was too passive. I guess I could still open and fold, but I called and he ended up having ace king. But I thought the spot was cool, so I kind of wanted to fold, but Matt was yelling at me, and I did want to look at the spot later, and we did, and it was kings plus. Next spot, we have a tight player in the big blind. I think I wanted to know what I should be calling here, as why I screenshotted this. Otherwise, I would just skip this spot. Heroes in small blind with basically 3,700, and basically 3,500 under the gun. So yeah, I think this is just for me, like mentally kind of checking what I would be calling with here. So under the gun goes all in. Cutoff folds, button folds. What should hero be calling with? Sixes plus, ace 10 suited, ace jack O, and under the gun should be shoving. I wish this was a big blind, it'd be so much easier. What does this mean? Bubble factor versus small blind. Under the gun needs 56% raw equity to call small blind push. So he's shoving, yeah, he's definitely not shoving this wide. And so I should be calling way tighter than this. All right, next spot. This was maybe a misclick anyway. Oh, this is so confusing to calculate. Okay, so I shove about 3K. So I'm barely in second place. Ace 9 off seems pretty fine here. We're 8 left. Blinds are 75, 150. Heroes cut off. I have 20 big blinds. Button. I'm effectively shoving 10 bigs because button has 10. Small blind has that. Big blind has that. So these guys all fold, doesn't matter. Can I shove ace 9 off? Well, as you can see, I already shoved it, so. Yeah, I can shove ace 3 off here. All pairs. Would I really shove 10-8 suited, 9-8 suited? Yeah, probably, because I think button and small blind have to be pretty tight, given that big blind has, I don't know, like 6 bigs or something, 5 bigs. He should be calling 27%. He's probably not, though. Okay, next spot. Oh, yeah. I have been making some mistakes with pairs, and I've been making some mistakes with low aces, like ace 7 and under. I think I'm shoving them too wide from too early of position. So this is an $100 sit and go. This was yesterday. Obviously results oriented, I got called, that doesn't really matter, but this felt too wide in the moment. So I am hijack with almost 11 big blinds. I actually thought the spot was kind of interesting. Okay, so they fold. Can I shove fours? I can for sure shove sevens. I'm pretty unsure on fours, fives, or sixes. Okay, fours is the border. I don't know what I think about big putts. I don't know if he calls too wide or not. I know that Make'em and Dream are good, and so I probably should be taking these spots. I don't know, this felt really close to slightly losing in moment. Because if I'm here with 16 of 5, if I switch seats with this guy, fours is definitely a fold. But fives is still a push? I would have folded fives there even. I don't know, this is something for me to like work on. I'm just trying to like ingrain some of these ranges into my head. What would you guys do here? I thought this was really close. And I would like to hear like justifications for pushing or folding. You know, it makes me feel like it was justified because if anything, my villains are not calling wide enough. But I actually do think Dreamfish does call wide enough, and Big Putts may be the kind of player who actually calls too wide occasionally. So yeah, ended up losing this hand. That doesn't matter, but it was close. Let's zoom in here. So part of the reason why I shoved here, and this is something that this is like a new concept that I'm working on, is kind of taking away shove spots from other players. Because one, I think they're going to be really tight and respect my shove because they're very ICM aware. They're going to think that I'm shoving really tight. They're going to try to just, they know that they have a big edge and the field's soft. This is kind of like double or nothing strategy as well, where like the first aggressive player kind of has a big advantage. Less about my hand, more about denying them the ability to shove. And particularly the guys in the blinds are just so shallow. So let's run the spot. I am in the button cut. I'm in the hijack with 220. So it just sucks because like I am in third, and I'm in third by a decent amount. Not a decent amount, but so it would obviously suck to lose here. 1685, 1725, 1385. I don't know much about the players in the blinds, but I'm assuming they're not very good. Okay, so I have Jack 9 suited here. I'm actually, these are some of the spots that I think I'm getting good at. So Jack 10 suited was a shove, Jack 9 suited is not. But given that I think that the players behind me folded a little bit too wide, I think this is good to shove. 15%, fours plus, suited aces, ace 10 plus. Interesting, okay. Okay, wow, okay. This one I used my whole time bank on, and I actually think, so I chose in moment, Sir Donk is just so bad, and Fighting Irish is just so tight that I actually passed on this spot, even though like I totally think Poker 12 is like shoving like 80% here. I'm gonna see what it says he should shove. This was my most interesting spot of the day yesterday, I think. I folded here, and I really wanted to call. I think ICM may have me fold. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I'm in fourth place. Cutoff folds. What does he go on with? 6, 8, 4, 5. I think it's gonna say I can call, but I think it's gonna be very, very close. Yeah, it's very close. It's borderline. So it has me calling 8s plus an ace king suited. I don't know why is it highlighted? Just because it makes less. Okay, yeah. So he's in an any 2 spot. So even if he does shove any 2, I fold king queen. So I'm gonna put future game on because I'm just gonna do it by like one hand. It's gonna definitely be a fold with future game. Yeah, lose a little bit more. If I do future game 3, yeah, well, that has me hitting the blinds again. But yeah, so 1, I'm gonna be button next hand, and then Serdonk takes the small blind, and then I'll actually be ahead of him. Yeah, I folded. I thought this was close though. I think Poker 12 really recognizes these spots. I don't think he's pushing any 2, but I think he's pushing like 80%. Okay. Almost done. Actually, I'm just going to end it on that spot. This video is already pretty long. I'll do more of these. Please give me feedback. Go team.